So today we're just going to have fun. I just feel like having fun. I want to do something for my craft room. I've kind of envisioned this sign. I've wanted to make it for quite some time, and it was just never had the moment, right? Like never had the moment. So this is actually what I'm using today. I'm going to pull up my sleeves here, my sweater. It feels so good to have a sweater on today. It's nice and cool and chilly here. So this is what we're going to be using, and this is one of my custom designed surfaces. I'm always kind of trying to find good surfaces for our napkin art or the napkins that I'm designing. Okay, so this is what we're going to be using today. This is a shiplap sign. It already has the holes pre-drilled, which is fabulous, so that we can run some ribbon or whatever you choose to use, you know, as a topper for these signs. Ribbon, wire, wood beads, you know, whatever it is would look really pretty. And the fact that they're already pre-drilled that's a huge benefit, right? We don't all want to have to drill our own holes. So the size of this sign is 12 inches by 6 inches. So 12 inches by 6 inches. And to me, that's a great size because if you're a paper crafter, your scrapbooking paper is generally 12 inches, right? And this, if you were covering these with strips of paper, the 12-inch scrapbook paper would be perfect for that. We're going to use napkins today because like I said, I've been dying to use this napkin in this way for a while, and I'm finally going to do it today. I'm really happy about that. So thank you. You like my sweater? I know it feels so good to be able to put on a sweater, a hoodie, and I love the yellow. Y'all know how I feel about yellow. I love the stripes. Really, really cute. So this is the surface we're using, and I think I saw Cheryl posted the link already for this. This is a surface we will continue to keep in stock and continue to keep playing with. And in fact, we'll see how we're doing on time. If we have enough time, I'll run up front and grab my fall sign that I made using this. I made a fall sign in my Napkin Club. And you guys, it does have kind of like the shiplap look on one side. You can see the shiplap look here, or you can actually use the back side if you want it to just be completely smooth. I'm actually going to use the back side today. And I know you might think that's kind of funny, but that's what I'm going to use today. Let me take off my little label here. I'm not going to focus on the shiplap side. I'm going to use the back side. And I think people sometimes forget they can use the back sides of things, right? If it's not an image or something that you don't really care has the little shiplap lines on it, it's fine. You can use the back side. Also, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm having issues here. I put on some different lip gloss and I don't like how it feels. It feels sticky. I don't like that. Let me get some water. Okay. So the other thing about surfaces like this is you can make them double-sided. So, you know, I think that's great, especially if you're doing something seasonal. One side could be Halloween, one side could be fall, one side could be summer, one side could be patriotic, right? I'm not doing anything seasonal today, but, you know, I like the idea of knowing that if I want to create on the other side, I can, right? I can create on that other side and just to switch things up, right? To move things around and switch things up. Okay. Okay, this Monday night, Belinda. All right, Belinda Kersey's son. Belinda is a sweet friend of mine. Her son is on The Voice. He made it as a contestant on The Voice. He's on Reba's team, and he is going to be performing again this Monday night. Well, she says you might catch my son this Monday night. So we'll have to see if his spot is airing this Monday night. But yeah, we are cheering him on, Belinda. I'm just cheering for your whole family. I think it's so exciting. So yeah, you guys, Kendall Eugene is Belinda Kersey's son. Let's all just continue to cheer him on and move him up through this competition. Okay. All right, let me show you which napkin I want to use today. Okay. I made these. This was one of my very first sets of napkins that I designed, actually the very first set. And it was all geared towards creativity, right? All geared towards creativity, the thing, celebrating our creativity, wanted to do some fun things that you could do for other crafters in your life. For your craft room, I think we all need to have pretty inspiration surrounding us in whatever environment or whatever corner of the world that you are crafting in. If that's the corner of your kitchen or in, an extra bedroom, or if you're fortunate enough to have your own crafting space, it's fun to kind of celebrate our love of creativity and have things around us that inspire us. So this is the napkin, and measure twice, cut once. But this is actually not the image I want to use today. I'm going to go ahead and open up this napkin so that you can see. I want to use these. Okay, so there's 2 squares of this napkin that have this image. And then there's 2 squares that are just these beautiful colored handled scissors right here. Okay. Now I know if you're in the Napkin Club, you received this napkin, and maybe you've already created with it and you want to create with it again. If you're out there and you're not in the Napkin Club and you're like, well, I want to create with this napkin, I have decided, just because I'm feeling good, I'm feeling happy, I'm just excited to be making this finally, that any of you that purchased the shiplap sign, I'm using the reverse side of it today, but if you purchase the shiplap sign, I've already told the girls in the warehouse to throw in this napkin for you. Okay, so if you decide to purchase this today, we're going to throw in this napkin. All right, we're going to send this napkin to you, and we'll honor this through the weekend. So anybody that purchases this sign today, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, we're going to throw in this napkin for you. Okay, I know I love this napkin so much. I just want to share it with all of you, especially since I'm using it today. Okay, so I'm going to be using the colorful scissors here. I want to make a sign for my craft room with these colorful scissors going all the way across. I just think it'll be just so cute and fun. So the very first thing I'm going to do today is go ahead and paint this side of my sign. I'm only going to paint this side for now. Who knows? I may decide to do something else on the other side, and that way, if I want to, again, kind of move things around, I can, right? I love being able to move things around and switch things up. And I think these surfaces are great to work on, to do double-sided. Okay, I really do. So I'm just going to be using white today, just pure white. If you have white craft paint, you can use that. I'm using my Country Chic paints, which are chalk and mineral-based paints. I love working with them. So I'm just going to dip right into the white. And I'm going to give this just a nice fresh coat of crisp white paint. Crisp white paint. So cute. I've been doing a lot of seasonal crafting, and I was like, today I was kind of like, I want to make something for my craft room. And then I thought about this and I was like, oh my gosh, I still haven't been able to make my scissors sign. So that's what we're going to do today. Our scissors sign. It's just, sometimes projects like this, you guys, they're very simple. They're very quick. They're very cute. They're very easy. So this is something that anybody out there could do. Okay. And yes, if you're interested in joining the Napkin Club, you would have access to order from past bundles. So you could go in and get some of these. Right now, the only way to get into the Napkin Club is to get on our wait list. And every month, we usually have a few spots open up each month. And that's where I go to fill the spots, is to our wait list. So yeah, make sure if you're interested in learning more about napkin art and getting beautiful napkins every month. I will tell you that our next napkin bundle is Christmas, more Christmas, beautiful Christmas theme. That's what we're working with. They were just we're just waiting for everybody to get them, but we're starting on them next week. Our Christmas bundle. All right, so I just want to get a nice little coat of paint. I'm going to dry this. It's always good to kind of dry your first coat of paint and see how if the wood is kind of absorbing the paint. You can always see so much better when the paint is dry if it needs a second coat. Okay, and I think I am going to put a second coat on mine. So let me get this coat dry. And I'll do a second coat. Heather, we have snow globes on order, so I think they should be coming in just anytime now. All right, so that's pretty good. It's still it's got a couple little kind of streaks in it. I'm going to go ahead and just do a second coat. And that should just even everything out. So again, I'm using the reverse side of the shiplap sign today. Making something cute for my craft room. I feel like a lot of us as crafters, and I know this is true because I hear people talk about it in my groups all the time. A lot of the crafting that they do, they wind up giving away. And so just remember, it's fun sometimes to actually make something for yourself or for your room, just to celebrate the things that we love. And I love the scissors because scissors pretty much cross over into every genre of crafting, right? Regardless if you're a card maker, if you're, a napkin art enthusiast, if you love to create with fabric, paper crafting, all the things, scissors pretty much cross over into every crafter's life. All right, I think that's pretty good right there. All right, I'll go ahead and dry this. Okay, that feels pretty good and dry. Now then, because these scissors are on a white background, they're going to be really pretty because the white background is just going to kind of disappear. Okay. If you wanted to float some other color onto your our little sign here, this is, again, it's 12 by 6. Okay. You could totally do that. Now, how could you do that? You could do that through like chalk inks. If you want to maybe use some chalk inks along the edges of your sign, you could do that. You could also use some watercolor, right? So would you like to see a little bit of watercolor on this? It's not something you really necessarily would have to do. It's just something that can be kind of fun to do. Okay, kind of fun to do. So if I want to float some watercolor, let me find a brush for this right quick. Here we go. You could use a water brush if you have one. I'm just going to use a regular paintbrush. And I have a little mister bottle here with water in it. So I'm going to see if I can get my water going. I'm going to mist over my watercolor palette here. This is a little kind of like a little starter set that we sell for our, we use a lot of watercolor in face journaling, sometimes in with napkin art. So it's a nice little starter. It's actually kind of like a little travel set. And it's just something fun that we can do to, add a little color to our projects sometimes. Okay. Now, if you used a paint that's like glossy or has a finish in it, like if it's a glossy finish or a metallic or something like that, it's more than likely going to resist. Okay. It's going to resist the watercolor. The watercolor isn't really going to work for you. But if it's more of a flat paint, like the chalk paints are, it's actually really fun to use. So I'm just going to kind of dip my brush. I'm going to come over here into a little bit of this blue. Okay. Just a little bit of this blue. And it's really kind of up to you. You can kind of pounce it on. It just depends like how, it's water that floats it. Okay, you want to kind of use your water to kind of float it around. I like it when it doesn't really have any kind of like harsh lines, anything like that. So I can kind of float some watercolor on here if I choose to. If you have a paper towel or something, you can come back and kind of blot. That will even soften it even more. Okay, you're just kind of blotting up the water. So let's put maybe a little down here. So just kind of almost like kind of a blob, right? Patches. We don't want like polka dots, and you can brush it out. I like to kind of just float, which means I'm just going to grab some more water and let the water just kind of move everything around. Okay, you see that? And then, like I said, you can come back in. You can kind of blot it just to make it a little softer. That's really, really nice and soft. You can see it's have a little bit more over here on this side. I kind of like it when corners have a little bit more color. If you have some watercolors in your it's different wrong color. If you have some watercolors in your stash, the only watercolors I'm going to tell you to stay away from, and watercolors can get expensive, but these are not. Don't use the really expensive kind just for crafting. This one I think is about $5. Okay. The only watercolor I'm going to tell you to kind of stay away from is going to be student grade. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Student grade would be like Crayola brand. All right, don't use like Crayola brand, things like that. Go into the fine arts section. You can find very affordable watercolor palettes like this. Okay, and like I said, we sell this little set. I think it's $5. Cheryl, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's about $5. I'm going to add a little yellow in here. So maybe let's put a little yellow maybe down on this corner. And what happens when yellow and blue kind of meets? Yeah, we get green. So this looks pretty intense right now, right? It's kind of intense. But again, as I come back in and kind of start to blot, it's going to lighten. Okay, it's going to lighten up quite a bit. All right, let's use maybe a little yellow over here. $4.99 for the basic set. Yeah, we do have a metallic set as well. The metallic set just has a certain kind of a sheen to it. Just kind of pounce around. Again, it's water that causes it to, I want the water to kind of float. And I just don't really like harsh lines. I kind of like it to look really floaty. And then we can come back in again. Kind of take some off, put more back on, whatever we choose. How many of you like to play with watercolors? Anybody out there like to play with watercolors? Let me know. I want to know. I love watercolors. I'm going to pull a little bit of this kind of blue back in here. Going to give us a little bit of a green. Not much. We don't need much. Just I kind of like it when the colors look like they're kind of blending together. Okay. Yep, we just did it with the crackle, didn't we? Yes, we did it with the crackle, and that was so much fun in the Napkin Club. Yes. You started to use them more. Good, 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 good. It's just a great kind of way to add some color, but softness, so it's not like real harsh color. And I just think it's just really, really pretty. Okay. If I wanted to add in another color, I could, or I could just leave this white, just purely white, right? I think I'm going to add in another little bit of color. I'm going to go to this pink. Again, nice and soft. Get some more water. Water, water, water. You're going to hear water all. You definitely need, we need water. Because that's what gives us this floaty kind of look. Okay, let's throw a little pink in here. I'm blotting because I really want the scissors to be the star of the show. Okay, so I want this to be much more subtle. And I'm going to go over it again. Again, just kind of softening it out. This is actually a watercolor brush. This is a number 14. It just has a really nice pouncy, soft bristles. Great way to kind of just pull in our colors. Now, if you didn't want to blot, I mean, you don't actually have to. You could just dry it. Again, I'm trying to keep this really nice, soft, and subtle. Okay. So do I need to come back into the middle? Let's dry this. And then I'll really look at it and see if I want to add any more. Okay, I think I'm actually okay with it. I think I'm going to leave it. Again, I want my scissors to be star of the show, right? So this is just basically giving me what I'm going to call background noise. This is one of the reasons I wanted to use the reverse side of the shiplap sign, because I didn't want the watercolor kind of running into those little valleys. I really wanted it to just be nice and airy and floaty, and not, because the water will try to find, you know, a way to flow. And so that's why I decided to use this back side of my shiplap sign. Okay. All right. Let me put my lid back on here so I don't spill. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Well, I'm glad that you guys showed up. Yeah, it's okay if you're late. You can always watch the replay of the beginning. We're using one of my shiplap signs, the 12x6, but I'm using the back side of it because I did not want to have the lines on this. And I'm just having fun making something cute and fun for my craft room today. And I'm using the scissors napkin. This is one that I designed. If our Napkin Clubs received our Napkin Club members received this back in August. And if you signed up during Create and Connect, you got this napkin. I'm going to go ahead and cut this apart. I've used this one on a couple things. So really what I'm focusing on today are these colorful scissors. So let me cut these apart. And everybody, we've decided to we're just going to share the happy today. So everybody that purchases a 6x12 shiplap sign, we're going to throw in this napkin for you. So that way you can create a little happy for your craft room too. All right, so I'm just kind of cutting right along the creases of the napkin here. And this is what I want to put on here. I'm so excited. Okay, so what I want you to see is that these napkins are a little larger than 6 inches. These are luncheon size napkins. Okay, so they are a little larger. I'm not worried about the top and the bottom or anything like that. But what I am going to do is these ones that are going to kind of meet in the middle. I'm going to cut them a little. Whoops. I'm going to cut off a little bit of this excess right here. And this part, just so that they can meet a little closer. We'll see how the dashes are going to line up. I'm not sure about that. I want them to be a little closer to each other. So we might. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this one down and take off this last little dash right there. And that way, that should do it. Okay, perfect. That should do it. Not worried about the edges because I can just sand those off. So I'm going to start with this one. Actually, you know what? I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to start on this end. And let's go ahead and separate our napkin. I usually do the lick and stick method for this. I just tap my finger and press. If your spit isn't as sticky as mine, you can just put a little tiny dot of Mod Podge on your finger and tap it until it's sticky. And that will help. These are 3-ply napkins, so you need to take off 2 plies. Napkins actually cut pretty good in a paper cutter, Jennifer, especially if it's a guillotine type cutter. Where you can have some problems sometimes is in like the little blade that slides back and forth. I think the rotary cutters, if it's got the round rotary type cutter in it, they do better. And then the guillotine type cutters, they do great in as well. Okay. All right. It's practically coming apart by itself already anyway. Okay, so we need those plies to be gone. And then we're going to grab some Mod Podge. Now, Mod Podge for this, you can use, I would generally tell you on wood surfaces like this, just to use Mod Podge matte. So I'm going to put a little bit on my little jar here. Let me grab a clean brush. Now, one thing you need to know about watercolor is that it's not permanent in the in saying that it's not steadfast, I guess is really what I should say. So when moisture hits the watercolor, it can reactivate it a little bit, right? So that's why I dried this. I tried to dry it really well, make sure it was really good and dry with my heat tool. What happens is sometimes it kind of bakes itself into the paint when you heat set it. But I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, as if this moves around a little bit, but it's not going to mess up your project. Okay. I don't want you to worry about that. It's really meant to be really nice and subtle. So we're going to go ahead and start putting down our Mod Podge. And I'm going to work from this side. Make sure you get it all the way to the edges. We want a nice, healthy coat. What does that mean? That just means it needs to look nice and wet. Don't be too chintzy with it, because if you put it on too lightly, it'll dry too quickly before it can really, your napkin can really conform to it. My Mod Podge, my watercolor seems to be staying just fine. And usually it's because I've heat set it and it just really just kind of bakes into that chalk paint. Okay. All right. I'm going to take this napkin right here. Make sure you're on the right side. And I'm going to kind of just lay it in place to start. Making sure I'm going to have a little hanging off the edge here. The top and the bottom. Okay. Now I'm going to use, because this is a nice smooth surface, I'm going to use my plastic wrap to smooth this down. And I'm going to start kind of on the middle scissor. Okay. And then just start kind of working your way out. And this white napkin is just going to disappear. So we're going to see our watercolor coming through. Yes. Push down really well, even around the pre-drilled hole. It's already there for you, which is great. We don't have to do anything to it ourselves. And it's a pretty big hole. And that was designed on purpose so that we could use a thicker ribbon if we want to, you know, however you decide you want to hang your sign. Okay, so I'm just smoothing, smoothing, smoothing. And now we're just going to carefully release this back. Oh, look how cute. So cute. See the watercolor? It's so pretty, right? Kind of see the hue of the pink up here. The pink is the lightest. It may be hardest for you to see. All right, now we're going to come down and do this side. Now I'm going to go ahead, because our napkin where it meets, I've kind of cut away some of that, but if it does overlap just a little bit, I'm going to have to put Mod Podge on top of this napkin. And one thing that is really important to learn as you begin working with napkins and napkin art is that if you put the top coat on top of a piece of napkin that you decoupage down, right? If you put the top coat on it before the bottom coat has had time to dry, sometimes your napkin will try to lift and bubble, okay? That's true of paper decoupage. That's true of anything you're decoupaging. You've got to make sure that that bottom coat of Mod Podge or whatever decoupage medium you're using has had time to dry, okay? It's got to be really, really good and dry before you sand the edges, before you do any kind of top coat over it, because paper just naturally, any kind of paper, napkin included, when it gets wet, it wants to kind of draw up and it wants to lift, okay? It wants to curl. Yes, I'm thinking fabric would be so cute to have it hanging from, right? So this little sign can celebrate all kinds of creativity. Like I said, scissors seem to cross over into all of our crafting. But yeah, wouldn't that be cute? Little ribbon, fabric strips for your ribbon. You might have some cute ribbon. I even think like the measuring tape ribbon would be really cute with something crafty like this. I'll have to look through my stash and decide what I want mine to hang with. So cute. Okay. Now this one's going to go on. Now when this one goes on, I'm going to be a little more, I'm going to kind of hold it like this and I'm going to bring it down. I want these, I want these little dash lines are not all the same size, which is fine, but I still want them to kind of sort of, they're just like little doodly dash lines. I still want them to kind of sort of line up. Okay, right? I want them to kind of sort of line up here. So that's what I'm doing. And now I'm going to grab another piece of plastic wrap that's dry and clean. And we're going to smooth this one down. And again, I generally will start with the middle of the napkin. So that's going to be this kind of goldy yellow scissor. So I'm going to start there smoothing and then just start working my way out. I love the watercolor coming through. So cute. And the watercolor's soft enough that it doesn't really change my napkin, right? Like it doesn't cause a handle to change colors or anything. It's light enough that it really doesn't, we don't have any issues there. Okay, looks good. Make sure your little edges, we just want to really burnish everything down, and burnish is just kind of a fancy word for rub hard, right? Especially kind of where those meet. Sweet. I'm so excited to be doing this. And here we go. Awesome. Oh, put right there. Okay. Perfect. Isn't it cute? Isn't that so cute? I love it. Now we're just going to dry, make sure everything's good and dry, and then I'm going to sand off the edges. Yeah. Diane, I'm using the back side of my shiplap sign, my 12x6 shiplap sign. I'm using the back because I didn't want the lines to distract. I also, because I put watercolor on top of the paint, I didn't want the watercolor going down into the grooves of the shiplap. And I have these little dash lines. Like I just sometimes you want a surface that doesn't have anything else going on it. You want just a nice, clean, flat surface. All right, that's drying nicely. So fun, so fun, so fun. Okay, you can take a little piece of sandpaper, a sanding block, a sanding file, anything like that, just to sand off the edges. And that's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to come along, sand off the extra napkin tissue that's hanging off the edge. This is really easy because the napkin tissue is very thin. And then, yeah, if I want to, I can create something else on the back side. And then I can turn it from time to time if I want to. But today I'm just going to focus on this side. Okay, let's clean up all this dust. Okay, I have one little corner that lifted on me just a little bit. And here it is right here. You can kind of see. And I don't know what it is with me and corners, but I almost always have to come back in and kind of touch up a corner here or there. All right. So if you see anything lifting, check your corners. Corners tend to be kind of tricky like that sometimes. And then as far as the holes go, this is something pretty simple. I mean, literally, I can use a toothpick to kind of come in here. If you have a little sanding file that can kind of go down in that hole, it's usually pretty easy to clean that napkin tissue out. Like I said, it's so thin. And we will be running something through it to hang it. I'm gonna have to go check out my ribbon stash, decide what I want to hang it with. Ribbon, fabric, twine. There's so many things, right? Okay. All right, so now that we have this down, we've got to go in and put a top coat on it because we're going to do some pin work. Okay, we're going to do some cute pin work. So we just need to make sure that the napkin is sealed so that our pin work looks nice and crisp. Otherwise, our napkin will try to absorb the pin work. And this is just a thin coat. That's really all we need, just a real quick thin coat. Again, the top coat, make sure your bottom coat is completely dry before you put on the top coat. I tend to move a little quickly on these lives because I'm trying to be a good steward of your time. But if you're doing this at home, definitely, just make sure you've given it enough time to dry. Okay. Let's see, one more little area right here. That part must have dried on me a little when I put before I got my napkin down. Nice thin coat. All right. And now we're going to dry this thin coat. A little wrinkle right there. There we go. It'll dry really quickly. I don't have a white friction pen, Karen. No, I don't have a white. We just carry the black. The grit of the sandpaper, the higher the number, the more fine the sandpaper is. The lower the number, the more gritty. I usually use something around 100. So I have some 100, 100, I would say about 100 is really good because it's not too fine. It's also not too gritty. It's kind of a good in between. 100, 120, even 80, somewhere in that range. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be sandpaper, Vicki. If you have a little sanding file, even honestly, even an emery board will work because the napkin tissue is so thin. Yeah. A little sanding block, anything like that. Now I can see my pink, and when I look on camera, I can't see it as well. But there's kind of this pinkish hue. Can you kind of see the pink there? If I hold it up a little closer for you, I think this looks so cute. So let's continue on. We're going to make it a little cuter. I'm going to just take, this is a toothpick. I'm just kind of cleaning up that Mod Podge that kind of drips in there in those holes. And yeah, let's do some pen work now. All right, let's do some pen work. Okay. Pen work is always fun. Pen work is one of those things that's just, you know, it's just fun to do. I'm going to switch my screen around here a little bit so that you guys can see a little closer. Okay. If you had any trouble with your dashes, you could always come in and clean those up and just add in a little bit of black where you need to. I think mine turned out okay, so I don't think I really need to do anything to the little dash lines or cut lines. So I'm going to go ahead and start right over here on my pink scissors. And I'm going to use I'm using a medium tip pit pen. It's my go-to for pen work on napkin art and many other things. And we're just doing this very loosely, kind of think like artsy, kind of doodly. It's okay if things don't exactly line up. All right. I'm going to come down, go down the little scissor handle here. If you want to do the little screw here, you can, you know, all those things. Okay. Now, sometimes I like to do what's called a double trace, and that's exactly what I'm going to do on the handle part. So that just means I'm going to trace it again. And I just don't worry if things are exactly lined up or not. Again, it's just kind of a more artsy, doodly kind of look. And it takes the pressure, for me, it takes the pressure off of everything having to look perfect. Okay. Kind of just takes the pressure off of everything having to look perfect. And I'm just going to continue on. You never want to do this until your Mod Podge is completely dry. If you happen to hit a wet spot, get like a baby wipe or something, clean the nib of your pen quickly. That way it won't dry on the nib of your pen or your marker, whatever you're using. Some people like to use like fine paint pens for this. I just really love using my pit pens. They won't react with water again, so if I decide to sparkle any of these scissor handles, I can. I'm so happy to be finally making this. I've wanted to do it since I designed the scissors. Since I designed the napkin. So what are everybody's plans for the weekend? Anybody have special plans? It's supposed to be really pretty. The weather's supposed to be really nice. I think my daughter and I, my youngest daughter is going to come over and we're going to go do a little bit of fall shopping next week or the next weekend. Actually, we're going to visit my sister-in-law. My husband's sister lives in Connecticut. So we're just going up for a very quick visit. And so we wanted to have something cute, fallish to wear while we go visit. Daughter's 30th birthday. Well, happy birthday to your daughter. You're having dinner with one of your grandsons and bringing mother to another grandson's soccer game, then lunch. Fun. We usually have some sports going on. I think we've got a little league baseball game to go see, and this weekend too. Suzanne has her Halloween Camp out. That's going to be fun. Suzanne is mom. She is the sweet mom to my grand twins. And they are in scouts. They're tiger cubs now. They're little tiger cubs, and they have a family camp out this weekend. So that'll be fun for them. I'm glad the weather's going to be nice, Suzanne. You won't have to worry about like rain or it being too hot. It should be great. You better take lots of pictures for me. I can't wait to see my little tiger cubs out there. You're getting ready for a craft show. Oh, fun. Nancy's going to go to a bonfire. Oh, if the winds quit blowing. Yes. Oh, Penny, that sounds like fun. She's going to a cousin's reunion. Marty's finishing up scrapbook pages. I see a football game in there. That's awesome. It sounds like everybody has some fun plans. Try to get outside. If the weather's nice, we all need to get outside, get some fresh air, get some vitamin D. Do you see the difference? Do you see how it just starts looking a little more kind of artsy doodly? These are the only two I haven't finished yet. Let your hand be a little wiggly. Don't try to make everything look so perfect. And usually with this kind of style of I don't know, doodle tracing, whatever you want to call it, it's one that I don't really want you to look at it like up close. Hold up your piece away from you. Go put it on a shelf. Go put it somewhere, walk by it, look at it. It's not really something you're going to get more of the effect of it, and you're going to like it better when you look at it further away. Okay, last scissors. Then we're going to do a little embellishing. How many of you like sparkle? Who wants sparkly scissors? I think it'd be cute if the handles sparkled. And even if you didn't want the handles to sparkle, I mean, they're cute either way. I think I might add some sparkle to my scissor handles. Let's go around, do that double trace. And I honestly think that the faster you go, the better it looks, because you're not really thinking about it. You're just kind of tracing and not thinking. We don't want them to be perfect. We want them to look artsy doodly. Okay. All right. That's the only thing I really need to add pin work to on this. So now let's grab some stickles. All right. I'm going to grab some stickles. I'm going to use diamond today, but there are three main colors that I use all the time, and they're all kind of a clear. And I love them because they take on whatever color I put them on top of. Okay. They just take on whatever color I put them on top of. So we'll go down here and start. And you can kind of see it has just a little bitty applicator. I'm just going to squeeze some out. And remember, I don't have to worry because I use my pit pen. I don't have to worry. Pit pens are steadfast. When they're dry, they will not react with water again. So I'm just using the tip to kind of squeeze out and color. in my handles. Cute. So that's why I love those Pitt pens. Waterproof, steadfast once they're dry. They won't react again with any kind of moisture. Isn't this a cute project? So fun. This could be cute as a gift too. If you have a crafter in your life or someone that loves to sew or stitch, or, you know, again, like I said, scissors kind of cross over into all crafty things. Even a teacher, like this could be really cute for a teacher. Just so fun. I'm just coloring it in with the tip. You could use a brush if you want to. If you use a brush, just make sure you clean it really quickly, because Stickles is more or less like a glitter glue. And if you leave it on your brush too long, it will ruin your brush. So I usually just use the applicator, just kind of color around with it. It also, I feel like I get it on there thinner, so it dries a little faster. Cute. Look at the sparkle. So when the light hits it in your craft room, it'll be all cute and sparkly. I love it. You could even put like you guys what's the stuff called? The glossy accents. Like if you wanted to put glossy on top of them, I'm not going to. I'm just going to do the stickles. If you have some kind of like metallic finish, you could put that on the shanks of the scissors. I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave them just like this. I think they look really cute. But I did think it would be fun to maybe embellish this just a little bit further. So I started digging through my flower stash. I'm going to turn my glue gun on real quick. I started digging through my flower stash and I was like, oh, it would be really cute if I could maybe come in and put a little flower on each of these, right? Just for something dimensional. So tell me if you like it, because I'm a little undecided. I haven't quite fully decided for sure. But having a few little flowers on top, I think could be really fun. Maybe you even want to use buttons instead of flowers. I was trying to kind of coordinate the colors. And so let's see. But these were the small ones I had. My next size up is kind of like this, is kind of this size. So I was thinking, okay, well, I might have to deconstruct this one, right? What does that mean? That means I'm going to have to just kind of cut away some of this because I only had so many small ones. But tell me what you think. Do you like the flowers? Yeah, it gives it a little bit of life, right? Let's see if I can deconstruct this one enough to make it work. Deconstruct basically just means taking it apart. You have to be careful though, because you don't want the whole flower to fall apart. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of big, isn't it? Do you think it's too big? I need one for this one and one for that one. Maybe I can kind of glue them up a little bit. I also have some other flowers. I don't guess, do they all have to match? Do you think they all have to match? Let's see what this one looks like. Oh, I kind of like the yellow centers. Okay, I'm going to try to make this work. Let's see. All right, I'm going to try to make these work. I think I could even if I have to use a little hot glue on them, since I only had 4 of these small ones. By the way, these flowers came from Hobby Lobby. Oops, I cut a petal off of this one. That one doesn't really look blue. It's supposed to be blue. This one looks more blue. All right, I'm going to try to make this work. Okay, so if I use this pink one, let me deconstruct this one. And then if the colors aren't quite right, I could probably ink them. I don't know. Think about it. I might just have to go get some more flowers. Okay, I'm going to grab a couple of ink colors over here. I feel like I need like a hot pink. All right. Yes, you could make fabric flowers. You could do little felt, those little felt rosettes. Wouldn't that be cute? That would be so cute. That would be adorable. So if my flower isn't quite as bright as I need it to be, I can just use, I'm going to use some chalk inks here. These are ones I'm going to have to kind of curl up a little bit. So that makes that one just a little brighter. And then let's see if I can make this one a little darker. Buttons could be cute. I mean, you guys know, you got a stash of stuff. Bling, if you want to bling them out. Okay, that's better for this one too. Do a little bit around the back. Okay, sweet. Yes, fabric knots. I mean, you guys know, tons and tons of options, right? Okay, so I'm going to put down a little blob of glue. And then just imagine, I'm still going to add ribbon, right? I definitely want to add some ribbon. That one's a little bigger, so I'm going to bring it down just a little bit. Or maybe I need to bring this one up. I think that's okay. Oh, I like this a lot. I may have to make 2 of these. I'd love to have one of these here and one at the studio too. Oh, I think it looks okay. These 2 are a little bit bigger, but I think it's going to be okay. I think that looks pretty cute. I may have to add just a tiny drop of glue right here. Just so this one stays up a little more. There we go. Cute. Look how cute this is, you guys. I like it. Twist this one just a bit. Fun. So now they have a little bit of dimension, a flower in each one of their colors. I love it. I think it's so cute. Now, if you wanted to, like I said, I've already done something with this part of my napkin. You guys, I put this on a phone stand and it's up at the shop. I also did a little canvas with this and I put some dimensional flowers here in the center. So it's just another coordinating piece. So you'll have these as well if you purchase like I said, we want to share some happy with you today. If you purchase the shiplap sign, which is 12 by 6, it's shiplap on the other side. I wanted to use the flat side on the back. We're going to throw in this napkin. So you're going to wind up with a couple of these as well. This looks really cute on my phone stand. I kind of moved my words around. You could even add the words onto this sign if you wanted to. You could just cut the words out and put them on here as well. And then all I have to do now is just let my stickles dry and then find some ribbon. Find the ribbon that I want to use. If you want to embellish your sign even further, gosh, you could put maybe a cute little ruffle at the bottom, maybe some pom-poms hanging off the bottom. You guys know when it comes to decorating for our craft rooms, we can do whatever we want, right? We can get it just have as much fun as we want. It'll be, you can just really personalize them and make them your own.